guys, welcome to Brian's Man Cave. So I'm continuing on with my game comparison series where I look at, well, right now I'm doing Atari versus Intellivision, and I just recently completed the Activision series of games where I was, the last one I did was Beam Rider. And so I figured, let's move on to the Coleco titles. And I have to start with Donkey Kong, because this is a game that was special to me on the Intellivision, and I played it a lot. I mean, it's not the greatest, but I always enjoyed it. And we got it on the Atari. Now, I have talked about these games a lot. I've done videos on probably a few times on both games. But this time I'm actually going to do an in-depth comparison of the two games together. So anyways, let's start off with the Atari 2600 version. Okay, so we got the Atari one loaded up now. So this is, well, obviously it looks like Donkey Kong. I mean, you can see the different levels, and you can see the stairs or the ladders. The color, it's there, it's purple, and Mario looks, well, he looks like Mario, so they actually did a good job on that. Now you'll notice that there's an absence of a hammer that's usually here in the arcade version. There's a hammer there. So this is kind of an odd one where they only give you one hammer, and it's all the way at the top. You'll also notice that the barrels kind of look like crackers or cookies. I've heard both from a few different people where we all try and talk about what the barrels kind of look like in this game. I always went with Ritz crackers for myself. But yeah, you'll also notice that there really isn't much of a soundtrack outside of the actual game sounds. Even when you get the hammer, there's not that charging noise that you would normally hear when he has the hammer. That's okay. And the other thing to notice on this level is that Donkey Kong is actually on the right-hand side, or sorry, on the left-hand side, which is the correct side, which is a little bit different when you compare it to some of the other versions of this game. And you'll notice that Pauline looks pretty good. I mean, you can make it out that that's a girl in a dress, blonde hair, blue dress. But Donkey Kong himself kind of looks, a little strange. He looks a little bit more like a gingerbread man, or some kind of just angry brown blobby dude. So now we're on to the second level, and this one is obviously a lot different than the actual arcade version, in that the fire barrel things don't actually go up and down the ladders. They really just stay on their own platform. Which kind of adds a little bit of a challenge, but not much, because they do move pretty fast in this game. That's what I've noticed, is the speed of them is really fast compared to your speed. And they do kill you quite quickly. But let's see if we can complete this. I always like to try different methods. Do I just go up one complete side, or do I go from one end to the other end and complete them all in in that fashion? But the fact that these things just don't ever go down the ladders means you'll never have to worry about them on the ladders. You could sit there on a ladder and never have to deal with them. Let's give this one a shot. I mean, the jumping in this one's pretty good. He does jump quite a bit. He jumps pretty high. And he's pretty good at clearing these big cracker barrels. But yeah, the sound effects are not bad too. You can hear the the jumping sound and all that. It's not too bad. The little blipping noise that he makes when he runs, I think could be a little bit irritating. But I think in a lot of Donkey Kong games, Mario sounds different. And again, we have a hammer here. Now, I always thought that this was weird. They put a hammer on this board, but you can only ever kill that one guy. I mean, you can't kill those guys because you can't climb with the ladder. So, oh, I knew I was dead there. All that hard work. Oh no, I'm doomed. But yeah, I mean, it's playable. It's, it only has the two boards. Has the barrel board and the rivets, or rivet stage, I guess you call this one, rivets, as you're trying to take those rivets out. But there is no animation at the end either. There's, you don't see Donkey Kong fall to his doom. Now I just wait here until the hammer disappears. Also, the shape of this one, it's more structured like a building, or more of a rectangular shape, whereas traditionally it would be more of a pyramid shape. But the colors are nice. They got the colors nice. Oh, just wait here. Those little fire barrels, I don't know, they kind of look like Genie of the Lamp type things. But yeah, this is a Atari 2600 Donkey Kong. Okay, so now we're at the Intellivision version of Donkey Kong. So this one actually gives you a home screen. Actually, most Intellivision games did give you a home screen, but this one was obviously a lot different than the original Intellivision home screens, as it had that green screen with those color bars at the top. And I believe this has something to do with also the Intellivision 2, in that the Intellivision 2 would look for that home screen, and if it didn't find that, it wouldn't let you play the game. At least that's what I've read. Whether that's absolutely true or not, that's really, that's what I've heard. It'd be interesting to find out which ones actually do work. So we're going to go with player 1, because if you do own an Intellivision 2, I do not believe that this will work. There we go. So right away you can see it's a completely different looking Donkey Kong screen than the Atari. I mean, the color is much different. It's more of a red color versus that purple color you saw. But it does have a hammer right here, where I was talking about in the Atari version. It didn't have that hammer. And the board definitely looks a lot bigger. And you will notice also that Donkey Kong is on the right side now, instead of the left-hand side. So, I mean, I guess it's because they had to scale it based on the graphic capabilities of the Intellivision. If they were to try and give it one more row, the game probably wouldn't fit, and they probably didn't want to shorten it either. So, probably just the way they had to work it out to fit on the screen. So again, we got the hammer. Yeah, again, no music for the hammer either, so either one of them didn't have any sound for that. But this one does kind of let you know when it's about to disappear, which could be handy. Now the other thing too is the jump. Mario's jump is really strange in this one. He kind of takes a little bit of a lift off, and you can kind of feel a delay in his jump, which kind of makes this one a little bit more challenging, I think, as far as getting over barrels like that. And then, of course, we have to talk about actually Mario himself, or Mario, however you pronounce him. He does not look like Mario. He kind of looks like Charlie Brown or Caillou or one of those little kid characters. You can see you don't see any kind of mustache. You don't see like he's wearing a kind of a pale bluish purpley color, which Mario never wore in the early days of Donkey Kong. Even Mario Brothers, he didn't really look like this. So, I mean, the look of the character is completely off. It doesn't even seem like it's even Mario. And then we got the Pauline here, which I remember when I was a kid, I always thought it was some kind of an animal or a bird or something. I didn't even realize that that was supposed to be a person. I don't know why so much detail of making Mario look like a person and then making Pauline look like that. I never understood that. And of course we got Donkey Kong there. Again, doesn't look like what he's supposed to. He kind of looks like a... I don't know, I kind of likened him to, if you watch Looney Tunes, that red furry monster guy. Only he's kind of a off brown greenish color. And the other thing I always thought when I was a kid, actually, was he didn't have arms. I thought that was his mouth. And then he was just grabbing things with his mouth, but I don't know. I guess I just didn't pay attention enough to notice that you could see his arms when he drops it, but he definitely looks like he's grabbing it with his teeth. That was something I always thought was kind of funny when I was a kid. I didn't really fully understand who Donkey Kong was. Of course it goes down there. Let's see if I can get to the second level just to show how the second level works. But I mean, I know a lot of people do not like this version for many reasons. They don't like the controls. They don't like playing it with an Intellivision controller. There's a lot of reasons. I mean, I think the look of it though is pretty decent. I think it does, you know, does resemble Donkey Kong a little bit more, in my opinion, than the Atari one. Of course, it's backwards that Donkey Kong is actually on the right-hand side, but oh. Okay, so now we're on to level 2. And, yeah, this one I think looks a little bit more like the arcade version. It does kind of have that more of a triangular shape to it. Or pyramid kind of shape to it. It does have less girders, though. There's only like 3 on each side, which makes this level a lot easier. Again, I guess they had to do it to make it fit. And you can see Pauline's up there again, and she's blue, which is quite interesting. I guess she just matches the board color, and that's about it. But you do have the items to pick up. It is a little bit more reminiscent of the actual arcade version. You know, obviously minusing how Mario looks, and how those... Well, what I always used to think they were was chickens, but I guess they're the fire barrels. But overall, I mean, the level's pretty solid. It's pretty fun to play. And there's only the 2 boards as well. So, there we have it. We got both Donkey Kong on the Atari and Donkey Kong on the Intellivision. Both have their, you know, their own little quirkiness to them. I think they're both pretty fun. I mean, for the amount of fun you can get out of them, being that they're only the 2 levels, and the skill on them, you know, unfortunately, it's really, like for the Intellivision, the skill is just the controls and the jumping. That's where it really gets hard, I figure. You know, when you go to jump over those barrels, you got to be like at right timing at all times, and that unfortunately is what brings the Intellivision version down. The graphics, you know, both have their own little thing. They both kind of resemble Donkey Kong. They did an okay job. Obviously, there's a lot better versions out there. There is like hacks and stuff. There's homebrews. There's DK Arcade for the Intellivision. I've played a few different homebrews, even for the Atari version. And yeah, a lot of people did say that Coleco downplayed these games intentionally just to, you know, pick up their versions of the ColecoVision and make their versions look better. I never bought that story. In fact, I even talked with some of the programmers, and they said it wasn't that at all. It was actually just other technical limitations and time frames and budget. Most of that had to do with why the game didn't turn out as good as it could have. Anyways, let me know what you think. Throw some comments down below. I always like to hear what you have to say. Hope you subscribe. Talk to you later.